What's up, guys? It's Manga Time once again. I'm here today to bring you my review of Bleach 587, The Headless Star 6. I was wrong. I thought the Headless Stars were going to end last week. But I suppose it does kind of all still fit in with the whole Uryu disappearing thing, because I didn't really think this week was still going to focus so much on that. Like, what I mean is, I didn't think we were going to be directly behind Uryu leaving still. I kind of thought there might be a little bit of a gap and everyone would be thinking about it. But it all kind of happens very, soon after. But we do get a colour page this week, and it's a little bit ridiculous. But some of it's kind of cool. It's got like a circus theme going on. It says "Enter a War." Rather strangely, it says Bleach 587, the Headless Cross 6 on the blackboard, on the chalkboard at the back, which is weird. Chad looks actually kind of cool. I've decided, in his disco dancer uniform. But Orihime kind of looks a bit silly. And she almost looks more like a Quincy with the whole kind of blue cuffs going on. But anyway, it literally starts with Uryu leaving again still, which I thought was kind of weird. And Ichigo's like shouting at him, and everyone's kind of looking, all upset. And then there's a big hole in the sky, which we knew of, but then somehow they just seem to like disappear. They get there almost immediately, and there's an enormous shockwave which throws everyone backwards. Orihime tries to save Ichigo with Santen Shun, but the two of them go flying back. So yeah, Uryu's gone, and I think that, there has kind of been a little bit of a break since then at this point, because Ichigo's kind of just sitting there all collected, and Orihime's like, oh, I couldn't do anything because of the shockwave. But then Chad arrives, and he basically kind of arrives to do his thing, as it was, and take Ichigo out of his funk. And basically, he picks Ichigo up and throws him into a building. And I'll tell you, Chad is ripped. Like, seriously, I kind of hope he actually does something, because he actually looks kind of cool at the moment, I think. He definitely looks very Arrancar, which I think is probably deliberate. But anyway, yeah, he throws Ichigo into a building, and then basically he gives the typical Chad pep talk, where he's kind of like, we're also shocked that Ishida was with the bad guys now, but he must have given it some serious thought. And basically, it's typical Chad pep talk. And Ichigo comes around very quickly, which I like as well, because a lot of people are really unhappy with the fact that Ichigo's kind of been flipping out over Uryu, because of his old composed demeanour. But frankly, I think it's a realistic reaction from Ichigo, and he has come round to it very quickly. And you get this really good, really typical Ichigo picture where he's like, I'll kick his ass and take him back. And he's doing the whole kind of defiant face that Ichigo does. And it looks really good. I actually really like that panel. And obviously it started raining as well. Which is kind of cool, because obviously rain in Bleach signifies sadness and that sort of thing. But basically, Chad's like, what if Uryu's reasoning for going makes sense? Ichigo just says, I'll kick his ass and take him back all the same, which is really cool. Then Urahara arrives with his little umbrella, which is a nice throwback to the very early days of Bleach. And he basically confirms what everyone thought, is that Ichigo's going to Ryokyu, the Royal Realm. He's like, what should I do? Should I get you a ticket to the Royal Realm? But then he says what I really wanted to hear, which is it might take some time. Which means that, I think we've probably got another section of this arc to go yet, unless by take some time it's literally just a couple of chapters. Regardless, though, we don't see any more of Ichigo this chapter. We actually skip over to Renji and Rukia. And we get to see Renji's in his Bankai, and he's using it in quite a nice, practical way. He's using the giant baboon arm to hold off a piece of, debris. And it looks really cool. But basically, the shockwave that threw Ichigo away separated everyone, which is Kubo's nice way of not giving us a 6v8, but whatever. I don't really mind too much, but it appears to be Rukia and Renji versus Bazz-B, and Rukia's, upset about Ishida, but Bazz-B arrives in his pathetic little Volstendig, and, he's like, now this is interesting, and I kind of hope they expand on this, because bloody Renji cuts Bazz-B off, but Bazz-B says, aren't you angry that your friend changed sides? We're angry at him too. If you want to kill him, I'll be happy to help you. Now, that's really interesting, because it shows that they do still hate Uryu, even though we pretty much haven't heard anything on that little plot thread since 543, which is when Uryu was revealed to be the successor. So Bazz-B, he brings it up again here. But when Rukia asks him, what on earth are you talking about? Because obviously they're going to think that, the stone to look up to Uryu. But before Bazz-B can answer, Renji tries to smack him with his Bankai. And I have to say, I actually love this bit. Even though it goes on for probably a little bit too long, it's really good. It's really funny. Renji basically calls Bazz-B Chicken Head because his mohawk looks a bit like, that weird thing that, is it like roosters have? I don't really know. But yeah, Renji's apparently angry with Uryu, but they don't need Bazz-B's help to beat him up. Now, Bazz-B rages out the fact that Renji's making fun of his mohawk, and he's like, you taking the piss out of my absolutely stylish mohawk. Now, this is kind of funny, because this picture here where Bazz-B's flipping out, that's exactly the same face as Kensei when he tells Master Masculine he's going to blow him to smithereens with Tekken Tachikaze. So yeah, but anyway, it's no big deal really. Renji makes more fun out of him. He's like, you're a chicken, you lay eggs, isn't that nice? And basically, Bazz-B just goes crazy. He's like, I'm going to kill you. And the really funny bit is Bazz-B thought Renji had cool eyebrows, so he thought he had fashion sense. And then Renji's like, wait, you think my eyebrows are nice? You're such a nice person. Like, you're being serious as well. He's not actually making fun. But apparently it's too late for that, and Bazz-B does that, and he uses Burner Finger 4, which summons a giant flame sword on his hand, which looks awesome, I have to say. And he then attacks Renji with it, and there's a huge explosion, but we don't see the result. So they're presumably going to fight for a little bit longer, but we're obviously going to get the other fights as well. I don't know who Nanana's going to fight, unless he turns up to help Bazz-B. Because that would make sense, because Nanana kind of has to fight Renji, because he knows everything about Renji, and therefore he probably could defeat him. Because obviously he was observing him for a while. Obviously, the fights everyone's probably looking forward to the most are whoever Byakuya is going to take on. It's either going to be Colonel Sanders or Pepe. I'm still hoping that a lot of these Stonerunners survive this fight, because I still don't see where this arc is going. I know there are 3 Stonerunners we're missing as well. And Askin's off doing his own thing somewhere. But we need more bad guys if this arc is going to carry on, like, through the Royal Realm as well. Speaking of the Royal Realm, we see it for one page, and it starts to shatter, which is awesome. Basically, Yhwach, Hashvolf, and Uryu have arrived already, so take that, Aizen. And they've arrived on the landing platform, and they've basically blown it up. And Yhwach's awesome. He's just kind of just like smirking as they stride onwards. And that's the end of the chapter. Now, I like that ending a lot. It's the problem we're having at the moment, I find, is that the cliffhangers are so tantalising, but the chapter barely moves it on. Now, presumably, one of the Royal Guards will come up to confront them, but you'd think all 5 would. Honestly, I still don't really know what Yhwach's going to gain from doing this, because he must clearly think that the 3 of them are strong enough to take on not only the 5 Royal Guards, but also the Soul King as well. And I'm not necessarily doubting that, but, it's just going to be interesting to see where that goes. Maybe the other hidden Stonerunners will join Yhwach in the Royal Realm. Yeah, it's really hard to say. Now, last chapter kind of promised that we would find out more about Yhwach's plan. That didn't happen, which is a shame. I don't think he just wants to destroy the Royal Realm, but he's just going to, fuck shit up when he's there, basically. But yeah, that's kind of the end of the chapter, really. I'm going to probably give it, I want to say 9, because I did actually really enjoy it. I really loved the Renji Bazz-B interaction, even though Bazz-B still gets too much screen time as opposed to the rest of the Stonerunners. The Ichigo bit was kind of same old, same old. It was just, it was just him getting his groove back from Chad, as he always does, or Orihime just doing nothing at all. The colour page was okay. It wasn't really what I wanted to see, though, in terms of actual characters. I was really hoping for Sternritter again. But, because we still don't know their colours, but I presume Kubo wanted to get Orihime and Chad's new outfits in colour. I don't think I'm going to give it a 9. I think I'm going to drop an 8 on this one, because, like I said, the story didn't really move along at all. It was nice to get everyone's reactions to issues of changing sides, and it was nice to see Bazz-B bring up the whole successor issue again. Hopefully we get more of that later, but, naturally, I hope we get some more of Yhwach in the Royal Realm. Well, I think that's going to be very much teased to us over the next few weeks. Panel of the week's quite difficult because I think the art was stellar in this chapter. Ichigo doing his "I'm going to kick his ass and bring him back" was cool. Yhwach at the end was awesome. The whole place blowing up. So that's probably going to be my panel of the week, is the final page. But yeah, that's kind of it for this week, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this week's chapter. Who do you think is going to fight who now that the fights have gone to basically one-on-one matchups, even though they technically haven't. And as always, guys, don't forget to subscribe for more videos and like this video. That'd be really great. But until next week, guys, I'll see you later.